Hello and welcome to A Slice of Pie. We're trying something a little different with the lighting. I probably should have the lights coming from above because man, that's making my eyes look dark. I wonder if I can raise them up a little bit, like they're from here. That's where they need to be. Aha! There we go, that's much better. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to somehow figure out how to permanently create this effect, even though there's still some shadows right here, but that's it's because it's not so direct. Okay, so I created fastenings for that, but I'm not gonna be buying anything because the first story for today for us is I'm moving. Well, in 3 months actually. So in 3 months time, I'm out of this space and into my own space. That's super exciting. I'm gonna be moving in with Gamer Guts, a friend of ours called Spiral Wind, and GreaterThanPie is actually gonna be moving out with us. And it's because life moves on. It always is moving, and eventually it comes time that you just need to get out, and so that's where we're at. We're looking at a couple places. A lot is still in the air, but essentially from the end of Nova build forward, we are going to be starting no new projects because we need lots and lots of money in order to survive on our own. So we're gonna get stable first, and then I will give you guys an update on where we're at. So essentially this show will continue to exist because it is easily one of my favorite shows to do, and I really just ramble and talk to you guys about the news. It doesn't require any new technology or anything. But when it comes to my projects, I generally spend a lot of money working on them and working on different things. Like Nova build has been such a money sink. And it's gonna be pretty much finished today, hopefully. I'm hoping that it's today because the last bit of fittings are going to be coming in. The painting is done, and well, it's drying outside right now, and so that's why I'm actually not in Nova right now. It's because I half assembled the water cooling build and I'm on the laptop until Nova is completed. So that is the big project. I'm finishing it, and then from there I have to focus on moving. So what else? While we're trying out some new lighting, I actually kind of noticed that the lighting was a bit off. It was really yellow. And that's because I think the background was being illuminated a little too much. So I like repositioned the floodlights back there, which are a yellow color, to differentiate the foreground and the background. But I also realized that my foreground lights weren't like beaming in my face. Because these are very powerful white lights. Like these are, honestly, I probably should not have them pointing directly at me. They're very, very powerful lights, and they aren't using a diffuser, and so I try not to point them at me directly because, yeah, the way I have them now, and I need to stop looking at them, oh my god. The way I have them now is they're actually outside my peripheral vision, so as long as I'm not focusing on them like I just did, they should be fine. In the future space, I'll hang them higher and have them beaming kind of like up from here down. But again, I don't know what that future space is gonna look like completely. And what's really weird is we are putting 4 content creators in one space, so yeah, there's so much to do, so much to pack, so much to worry about. God, I don't have enough space for this. So, I guess we can get into the gaming news. Yeah. Okay, so game news. Oh, game news, oh, game news. What do we have this week? Well, I'm glad you asked. Microsoft released Halo on the PC. Well, the Master Chief Collection is actually on its way to the PC, and even weirder is it's on Steam. It's on Steam. Think about that. So it is going to be on both the Microsoft Store and Steam, and it still appears that Steam is the dominant platform because even Microsoft themselves are porting their games to Steam. Which is kind of awesome though. We are finally getting a Halo on PC since I think the original. So this comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 ODST Reach, I believe, which all games that I actually kind of like. So I will pick this up for my PC because I would love to play those with mouse and keyboard controls. I dominated, I think it was Reach with the controller, and I didn't understand why. So mouse and keyboard, I'm gonna see how far I can get to at the end of that suicide mission. Spoiler alert, I guess. Also, Microsoft news. You can now stream from your PC to your Xbox. Now this is a functionality that's been present in Steam Links and things of that nature, and I even think you can do the PlayStation and the iPad, but streaming to other devices isn't a new thing. The new part about it is that you're streaming your PC games and your desktop and everything to your Xbox, which is actually a pretty nifty feature, especially if you don't have a home theater PC. Now, there were a couple of interesting little things that have dropped on the Nintendo Switch that I kind of want to talk about, and one thing that really baffles me. So we're actually going to talk about the Valley, not the Valley. Valley, I've never heard of this game before, but God, does this look like an interesting puzzle platformer. From what I can tell, you have this sort of like super suit type thing that you use to explore and like have nature magic and stuff. It looks kind of cool. I actually think I'm going to pick this one up because not only does it look good, but it looks like the gameplay is going to be really fun. The other game that stood out to me was the Caligula effect. I don't know how we got this stateside. This is probably because of Nintendo's new open borders perspective on games in general. But the Caligula effect is it's an interesting looking game. The story seems to revolve around some omnipotent thing trapping humans in a perfect world so that they forget all of their troubles. It sounds very similar to Angel Beats, to be honest. But it looks like it's a turn-based RPG, which, okay, turn-based RPG in a very anime-y style. It looks kind of cool. And then the last thing we're going to talk about, the 3DS has a new game coming. That game is Persona Q2. Now, Persona Q is actually a 3DS exclusive, and Persona Q2 is also a 3DS exclusive. I was kind of baffled for a moment when I started watching the trailer. I was like, what? The Switch doesn't look like this? And then I realized, oh, it's for the 3DS. So that's a thing. We're getting more Persona. I won't play it because I haven't touched my 3DS in like 2 years now. So yeah, that's all of our game news. It was pretty quick actually because there really hasn't been too much in the gaming sphere, but we do have a bit of tech news. Tech news. Okay, we actually have a considerable amount of tech news today. So I like this. Gaming and tech, if you just follow those two, you get a lot of information throughout the weeks. Alright, so the GTX 1660 has launched the non-TI variant, and it is $220. That is really good for what is a gaming GPU. That being said, it has comparable performance to an RX 580, which means that, yeah, it's actually cheaper than the RX 580. That being said, that might mean that AMD is just gonna chop off the price a little bit. That being said, I think you can get a 570 for like $150 every so often, so AMD still is in the bottom of the gaming barrel when it comes to cost, but NVIDIA is definitely hitting hard there. This card seems to be like a good upgrade if you have a 960. Yeah, 960, a GTX 960, or if you are upgrading from a like much lesser, like a GTX 1030. You'd actually see a considerable amount of performance with this. That being said, if you are building a new cheap system, it's not a bad value at all, actually. I just kind of hope that they continue to actually do these GTX like 16 lines, because I would love, as I said, for a higher end non-RTX, essentially 1680. Give me a 1680 and we'll talk NVIDIA, because especially if you can hit around like a $400, $500 price range, because that's my comfort zone when it comes to graphics cards. Thunderbolt is going royalty free. Yes, you're Thunderbolt. No, yes, you're Thunderbolt, not Lightning. Intel used to own the royalty for Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt is an amazing data transfer standard. It actually does 40 megabits per second, which is double what the new USB is going to be doing, and it is quadruple what USB 2 already can do. So, or USB 3 can already do, not USB 2. That's like, I don't even want to try to calculate that out. So, now that it's going royalty free, it's actually going to be worked into the USB standard as another type of USB. USB Thunderbolt, as I think it's going to be referred to, will now be non-Intel exclusive and will be able to be put into other computers. This was an agreement that Intel actually made, so it's not a surprise that's happening. It's just very cool that they are in fact putting the standard out into the open so that everyone else will be able to use it. This will allow eGPU use on more laptops. Anything running AMD will now be able to possibly have a that connection built right in. And since Thunderbolt works through the PCIe, I'm sure upgrade cards would also be feasible, especially for low space enclosures. Whew. Intel, Google, Amazon have created a path to create a brand new data transfer thing. It seems like it's going to be kind of interesting. It's supposedly, like from what I've heard, it's either for just server transfer or RAM in order to actually transfer data more quickly from the server processors to the RAM. It's confusing. It's honestly like a lot of it's secret because of course it will be. They're developing this technology to advance their own interests, so they're not going to be telling us everything about it. That being said, I am kind of interested to see what they come up with, just because it could be eventually trickle down into the user market. Whew. Windows 7 is dying, but Microsoft is sending mixed messages. This is one of those stories that you kind of just are like, why? So Microsoft is actually pushing for DX12 titles to get ported to DX11 compatible operating systems like Windows 7, yet support for Windows 7 is ending soon. Like, what are you doing, Microsoft? That being said, further development in games of that nature, my brain is fried from that. Oh my goodness. Either way, a couple extra people are going to be able to play the new WoW expansion if they're running on Windows 7 instead of Windows 10. That being said, if you do value your internet security, I would recommend getting Windows 10, as you're going to be paying an arm and a leg for support anyway if you were to try to stay with Windows 7. Whew. Now, we did see something show up that was rather mysterious. It was a benchmark for an unknown Radeon graphics card. Now, it had slightly less compute performance than the Radeon 7, but better gaming performance than the RX 580. What is this mysterious card? Was this Navi? Well, after people did a little bit more digging, it looks like it has a Vega serial number. Now, it isn't another Vega 64, as there's no reason for a new entry to be created for another Vega 64 or 56. Yeah, those numbers. There is no reason for those cards to be retested. the current running theory is that we're actually getting a cut down Radeon 7. Radeon 7 with all of the compute cores but less HBM memory. This would actually allow the card to drop in price by about $100. As crazy as that sounds, that's how much HBM cost. So, if they did that, we could actually see a new Radeon 7 drop right into where Vega 64 is, and Vega 64 shifts down, and then 56 will shift down a little bit as well. That would actually pad out AMD's lineup quite well for the rest of the year if Navi is that far off. Now, that would be the only logical reason why they would do something like that, is if Navi is so far away that they have no ability to release it or tell us about anything in the near future. So they may literally come out on stage and be like, hey, we know you guys want the power of the Radeon 7, but you don't want to pay for all that HBM too. Here's an 8GB model. That could be a mainstream card, unlike the current Radeon 7. So that seems to be where I'm leaning in that camp, and I kind of hope that that is true. And then finally, we do actually have Navi release rumors, and those are that right after the right after Ryzen 3000 launches, we will see Navi and it will launch. Now, that would actually be pretty interesting if that's how they're going to do it. Now, Navi is supposed to be the mid-tier GPU. Like, that's supposed to be like a 10 or a 2070. Oh, actually, that's weird now with how NVIDIA has that 26. I digress. It's possibly going to be coming right after Ryzen 3000 launches, which would be, I want to say that's supposed to be slated for summer of this year. So, I guess we can look forward to that. And that's all we got for Slice of Pie. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. I am going to have to edit this on my laptop, which did an okay job last time I had to edit a video on it, and I was actually rather surprised by its performance. That being said, thank you guys again. Wolfie